Hey, am I here? I hope I'm here. I'm not really monitoring on this side today. I'm taking a look on my phone just to see if I can improve the internet and actually, fingers crossed, hopefully that's what we do. But I mean, whoa. All right, somebody's got the wrong number because I just got a couple texts. Let's see here. Let's see, bro. That's what you want to do. But you want to keep hanging up on me, and I don't like your F blank mom. Just like that. B blank, huh? Don't worry about it. But I swear to God on everything, I F blank love on your F blank aunts. Savannah is not there, bro. Ain't nobody say that. B blank, A blank, house no. All right, so I'm going to block this number, but I'm not going to delete this conversation because this is kind of awesome. I need to share this with folks. I really do. This rarely happens to me. I mean, I did get a couple calls a few weeks ago from somebody like in another state thinking I was trying to set up some kind of childcare services or get like my kid into some kind of preschool or something. Don't have a kid. And my name is not Coretta. So this is just crazy. And now that person's going to see that person got blocked by the person that they were sending the text to that they thought that person was. So now the whole thing is going to explode. So who knows? Pay attention tonight to your local news and maybe your national news because there might be an incident going down apparently because of this. But yeah, that's wild. That's awesome. And we're checking to see what we got here. Hopefully we're live. I really hope I'm live. We are still going to find out if I'm live. But it looks like my audio is going through. It says I've been live for 2 minutes and 23 seconds. But for some reason here on my thing, it says waiting for Debo Bricks. So, yeah, I don't know what's... Oh, hey, yeah, I'm synced. Or I'm good. And I'm in a higher definition than than we're used to at this point. So that's something wonderful. But yeah, so we're already off to an excellent and exciting day. We've got strange texts coming in from who knows who with the wrong number. It's that's exciting. Somebody somewhere is going to have a reckoning tonight. So stay tuned. Hopefully we're all privy to it. I mean, well, no, honestly, maybe not. I mean, because somebody's going to get hurt from the sounds of things. Wow, that's just an amazing text to get. What's up, Doc? What's going on, yo? So yeah, I got a lot to cover today. Besides the strange stuff going on with my phone with somebody, because like they at the beginning of the thing they said like so and so hung up. Why did you hang up on me? So obviously, like they probably already got blocked and they put in the wrong number. Who knows what happened anyway? But yeah, so like I'm doing a different angle today, and hopefully that's helping the internet. Maybe it's the impending storm. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully it maintains. If not, let me know. Let me know what's up. But yeah, just one quick thing I want to point out. Having put together the Daily Bugle and the Ninjago City Gardens, which are both $300 sets and both wonderful. And you know you're going to want to get these sets because you got a lot of minifigures. You got to have a place to put them, right? Well, one has the advantage over that than the other. Daily Bugle, beautiful as it is, lovely skyscraper. The interiors are pretty much set up for 1 or 2 minifigs at a time. It can't even hold the 25 minifigs it came with. Big gripe there. Big gripe. I mean, you can have them splayed all around in some kind of big battle and stuff like that, but it gets really confusing and really just Sandman is just more trouble than it's worth most of the time. So yeah, that being said, the Ninjago City Gardens. Now that came with a comparable number of figures. It was like 20, 22, something like that. But the built compartments absorbed them immediately. And then all of the area around to walk on, all the different levels and stuff like that that's set up in there, I took all my other Ninjago figures because that's kind of why I wanted to get that. Because I was like, I'm not really a Ninjago person, but I love the figs, right? So, so I just kind of accumulated them and needed some place to put them. So I was like, all right, I'll get the Ninjago City Gardens, and that'll kind of quell that expansion there. And you know what? It absorbed them. It absorbed another probably 50 figures on top of the 20 or so that it came with. So we're probably rocking somewhere near 75 in there somewhat comfortably. Like it just looks like a busy day at Ninjago City Gardens in there. But you try and do that with the Daily Bugle, it's going to look like some kind of riot or something's going on. Like it's not going to be healthy for anybody. There's going to be life and limb lost possibly. So if you're looking for a set to hold a lot of folks, definitely go to Ninjago City Gardens. Plus it's cute. It's going to take up a little bit bigger of a footprint, like in your city, because it's 32 by 48 versus 32 by 32, which is awesome that they kept the Bugle to that. But I mean, I guess if you loaded up the fire escapes over there, but I mean, that's a whole nother storyline altogether. But that's just one piece of the badness today. Yeah, so we're taking a different look here, different angle. We're facing away from like the main bunch of the city, so you can kind of see the stuff behind me. You don't really get to see that too much. My head's kind of blocking some of the non-Lego action there. Yeah, Generation 1, baby. But yeah, so we're just trying some new stuff, and I did a little rearrange over there, so it makes stuff a little bit easier to see. The loot came in from Bricks by the Bay, coming up in just a week or so. But I got to get my MOCs together. I got to start, like, I got a list started. I got to compile the photos, but I think it's just one photo per MOC. So I got to like be really judgy on this stuff. Plus I got to like get a single awesome photo that looks good and is well lit for the Nautilus, so I can submit that. And update as of, what was it, 6 minutes ago, the Nautilus is at 120 supporters. So thank you everybody for doing that. Tell your friends, tell any Disney files out there or oceanographers, fans of classic literature. I don't care. Just if it can get the support, yeah, please find some support for it. Although honestly, I'm not really surprised where it's at right now, because I think it's a good idea, a good concept. Hey, what's up, Zach? How's it going? I'm just waxing here a little bit about the Nautilus real quick. But yeah, it's definitely, like, I think the last ideas set that I had, well, the last semi-successful one that I had, it had like 79 supporters or something like that, and I thought that was a big accomplishment for me. So this is above and beyond that, and so thank you all. But yeah, so that's crazy. It shot up, and I mean it's tapering off right now, and I need to put together a video for it properly and whatnot here on YouTube and get stuff together for Bricks by the Bay, because I really want to see this made as a set. So hopefully we'll see. Enough about that for now. Back to Bricks by the Bay. So the con kit, which is awesome, came with a little mini build, which is a little cable car for Bricks by the Bay. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it, yo. But this is an awesome little build. We went to San Fran as May of 19, so it's before all the stuff, and didn't go on the cable car, but walked up Lombard Street, because we actually ended up staying on Lombard Street. But we walked up Lombard Street to see the whole twisty woody knot going down. But yeah, we were just watching folks struggling on the way up and down, so we were like, nah, you know what? Nah, we're just gonna go get some food from around the corner and call it a night. So yeah, but love San Francisco so much, and this is a nice little treat. I'm so excited to get this. Who was it that designed this? Was it Tim? I think it says here, because it comes with instructions. Yeah. Let's see. It says in here, yeah, designed by Tim Haydrich. So that's awesome. It also came with a little 2 Bricks by the Bay stickers, and they're not those nice, thick, heavy matte stickers, so good quality. got the other one on the back of the rig here. Bricks by the Bay is strictly virtual con this year. I'm hoping like BrickCon is virtual again this year. I mean, I know everybody out there wants to go to a con and like live and breathe the bricks in the environment, and I get that. I totally get that. But if it's virtual, I get to go. So, you know, I don't know if I'm the devil's advocate, but I'm the introverts advocate. No, the shut-ins advocate. I'm an advocate for something. I don't know, but yeah, it's going to be a virtual con. So yeah, that came with that. It came with stickers, and I just love that build so much. It's just awesome. And it came with some other goodies. There is a blind, do not open seed part challenge baggie, which I felt it up quite extensively. I know exactly what's in there. Okay, probably need to choose some different words there. But everybody's stuff, and I've seen folks post it on Instagram and other places and whatnot. The little Bricks by the Bay stuff. It all comes with a CMF, and it's, you know, everybody's CMF seems to be from a different series. I've seen Series 18 stuff. I've seen I think Lego movie. No, Lego Ninjago movie. Did I see a Lego movie too? I don't know, but there's a couple different ones out there, and I know exactly what this guy is. This is little Rocket Boy. You can see him right there. The most easily figure outable of the entire bunch. I mean, yeah. Brick Rodeos in person. I think, is it the first in-person con this year? Well, I mean, Texas, yeah, they would just be like, yeah, let's do it, partner. It'll be your first ever? Yeah. Awesome, yo. Hey, Matthew, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Yeah, so I'm just went over real quick some, well, kind of in the process of going over real quick some Bricks by the Bay stuff, because, I mean, you can say real quick, but there's a lot in this package, and that's one of the things I love about the virtual con. I mean, you know, in the real con, you'll go there and you get the stuff, but, like, I can just be here, attend cons across the country, and get the goodies from them. So, I mean, I love that. And like most of the time, the goodies that you get far exceed how much you paid for attendance and stuff. Like, I think they could actually bump up the cost a little bit on those, but don't go spreading that around. That's just an idea. But there's a baggie with all kinds of little goodies in here. And there's a fat separator, thick separator, some folks might call it, or mega clicky. Oh, don't ship them in the UK. That's sad. Or that's sad. I'm sorry, yo. I'm sorry. But I mean, honestly, like the events of the day and stuff. Like, at least I'll say BrickCon. I won't reference another con, but BrickCon. When I went there, that was my first con, first Lego con, and that was like, it was just. Go thing, just like being at a regular convention, you know, jumping from room to room and going and get your stuff, maybe taking, you know, this little chat off to get some food or something like that. And I thought it was really well done. So hopefully Bricks by the Bay achieves that same gold standard. But yeah, check this out, yo. There's some green splat gears up in there. What's up? About 4 of them, and usually most of the stuff that's in here, like the exceptional stuff, is about 4 each. I'm just trying to check the chat as I go, so don't mind me if you see me like doing this. Texas, yeah, Texas is a drive. Like anything you do in Texas, like you have to commit like half a day. That's if you're in Texas. If you're from out of Texas and you're going to Texas, that's a whole nother ballgame. But I'm saying that, of course, having never been to Texas. But I did live in Florida for the formative years of my life. But some of the other bits they got in here that you got 4 of, you have these printed reverse tiles here. And these are from the grand piano set, which is an awesome set. But, like, it'd be one of those things that I get, but there's no place to put it. There's barely even any room to build it, almost. Here's a nice plate that you get, and this nice macaroni plate. It's a 3x3 macaroni plate. That's amazing. So this is just loaded with good stuff. People have been talking about the 1x2 glow in the dark tiles, which is great. This is great because like this is one of the reasons I was considering getting the road plate sets, because this is what they come in. And I don't have to worry about that now because like I don't need different roads. I do need a way to get down into the bottom here. So I'm thinking about developing some kind of ramp for an underground parking structure eventually or something like that. But that being said, I wanted these, of course, for the street lights because I've got the trans yellow ones over there right now, and they kind of work a little bit, but like they don't glow. And I mean, if you put them under an ultraviolet light, they don't like take off. But these would. And plus, when I get everything shut off for the night and click the light over here, you get to see some nice glowage. I got a couple things over here that glow already. Galactus's eyes glow. There's a couple pieces on Doctor Strange's house that are glow in the dark, and there's some other random stuff in here too. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, Bricks by the Bay. Like everybody's getting it now. I was kind of worried for a second because like it said it had shipped, but it said it arrived at the facility and was in San Jose, and then it just kind of didn't really update for like 4 days. And I'm like, man, I hope I get my package. I hope I get it in time. But finally it did show. And just like shipping is still kind of a little bit wonky. I just had a package arrive here from Texas that should have got here Saturday. So we won't go into that. We'll just that's another discussion for another stream that can go more in depth and on that. Let's see. New Mexico, right on, yo. Yeah. Like there's not a Albuquerque con or something like that like I would think there'd be something along those lines, but yeah, the VIP package that stuff is awesome. Like I'm almost thinking like if they ship it out, even if there's a physical con in the future, I'm just gonna go ahead and like say I'm attending and not show up to the actual thing and just get the goodies if they ship them out to you. But like I think that's something like you when you check into the con, you get your stuff. In the normal world, as we are slowly rolling back to it. Yeah, Daily Bugle. It does look glorious. It does look cool. But one thing I was saying very early on here in the stream is it's sitting next to the Ninjago City Gardens, and this is my really only big griff with the Daily Bugle. I mean, there's other things you can nitpick at, but for the most part, the charm of the whole thing exceeds all of its negative points. But yeah, right there with the gardens next to it. Like the gardens came with 22 figures, something like that. And the Bugle came with like 25. So the Ninjago City Gardens absorbed those figures immediately into all the little structures, and with all the walking areas out and about and everything like that, and even a little bit more room inside a couple of the structures, I was able to load 50 more Ninjago figures onto that set. Whereas Daily Bugle came with 25, and I swear, you can barely fit them all on there. Like I got people hanging out on the back deck. I got like Sandman is in the alley because, yeah, that's just where he's at. So, but yeah, it's a fun set. It's a fun set, but it's not going to be like the way I approach skyscrapers when I make them. Like, sure, one of the things is you want to make like kind of a realistic environment when you make a skyscraper. You have as many amenities as you can fit in there. But another goal, especially like in these days in Lego, and of course in the world at large, when you're making a building like that, is to house as many people as you can fit in there, right? So I think that's the one place where this kind of fell off a little bit. I mean, my opera house over here, just in the opera alone area, we're holding 179 figures, not including the mall area below, which I could probably fit another 25 in there comfortably to make it, or everybody's got elbow room and stuff to move. The Ghostbusters Firehouse has all kinds of ghosts extra crammed in there. So there's probably another 20 figures in that. And everybody is, comfortably spaced to where I can, scoot things around. And I got the Ecto one in the bottom, right? So that's my griff with the Bugle. But that being said, lovely set. Ideally, you could get another one and just kind of widen everything a little bit, just like, you know, you could go twice as high, but make double wide floors, and you can expand it all the way to the just inside of that perimeter there. So you go 30 by however much you need to leave, like maybe a six stud sidewalk out in front. But yeah, it's definitely a tight squeeze. Like even putting the figures in there, like I don't consider myself to have like super huge hands, meaty hands, but I mean they're broad, right? So getting stuff down and in there, just, you know, you have to do the praying mantis thing, and you have to pray that it actually sticks to a stud. Fix the broken window on the Bugle? Not yet, because I still don't need to make, I am so far behind on making videos and stuff like that. So I need to make a video of it to kind of take a look at it, review it, and talk about things on it. But then after I do that, I'm for sure fixing that window, because I got a glazing crew lined up. I got the work order in for it. So yeah, it's gonna be something we're tackling before too long here. And it's easily accomplished with the pieces that are included. Plus, you'll have a couple extra left over. So good times, right? But yeah, how cool is the Daredevil minifig? I got the Daredevil minifig out before I even started building the thing, like 2 or 3 days before. That's how cool the Daredevil minifig is. I just had to have him. So it's a very happy time in my city, because Daredevil's here. It's like all the other superheroes are just calming down a little bit. It's not like he runs things. It's not like he rules a roost. But having a lawyer superhero out there on hand kind of keeps everybody a little bit more on their game. They're not playing like loose cannon all the time, because Matt Murdock's, you know, I was gonna say he has eyes in the back of his head, but he doesn't even. No, I'm just gonna chill. Yeah, I get it, Doc. He's not the greatest character of all, but like he's, you know, he's Daredevil. I mean, some of the storylines that Daredevil has had have been amazing. But like, I mean, I could say the same about a number of DC characters that, you know, they've had very fantastic storylines, you know, here and there. But overall, like, not a fan of the Flash or some other, you know, random character from that universe. But I'm just saying, Foggy is the better lawyer. Yeah, because Foggy spends more time, you know, paying attention to practice. He's got to cover Matt's backside most of the time, because, you know, he's either bruised up or like he knocks so senseless and punchy that he can't even, you know, argue a case. So of course Foggy's got to step in. Yeah. But I mean, that's one of the cool things about like those sidekick characters like Foggy, like like Bucky in some cases, and who am I thinking of? Rick Jones. Yeah, Rick Jones is the ultimate sidekick. I mean, forget about it. Like Rick Jones and Foggy Nelson should start their own thing. But yeah. Anyway, there's that rabbit hole. So what else? Was there anything else of note in here to tell you about in this set? Yeah, set. Yeah, the set of things that I got sent in the mail. So there were 4 of these, right? These little Mysterio head globes, which they came in the Raya poly bag. I'm tying this all in because I kind of planned this out a little bit. So the Raya poly bag, which you can get for $4.99, Target, or, you know, similar stores that have available poly bags. Not all of them do, and some of them that do are so far out of date. But that's another road I'm just going down here. But yeah, so this came with 4 of those. That Raya set came with 1 of them. I needed 4 of them, so I no longer have to buy extra Raya sets, which is cool. I mean, although it does come with a couple nice pieces. Yeah, that's cool. But we also got pretzels in there. We got a couple leaves. We got some gold bits. It looks like they're kind of gearing this to more of a mosaic build type thing, especially with including the thick separator in here. Candy Southern. Let's see. So yeah, there's some rainbow stuff in here. Awesome. Let me see if I can get this little flaggy waggy. All right. So this flag, United States flag, of course. It came with the White House set, and I think one other set. Was it? No. Wait a minute. It may have came with one of the Apollo mission ones. It may not. I might just be remembering things funny. But also included in the Bricks by the Bay stuff is they give you this little torso. There's like a little little contour so for your sig fig. So it's got Bricks by the Bay 2021 on there and their little logo and nice little diagonal stripe design, which is something more, I'm going to go ahead and put this on my minifig now, or my sig fig, just because he's got the Legoland shirt. It's looking a little bit tired and he's right here anyway. So why not? Why not just throw it on there? Oof, not with those pants though. Got to change it up. Blue shirt, black pants. Not in the Lego world. Okay, here we go. All right. So yeah, he needs better pants. But there we go. There's little Debo all set there. All right, so yeah, and there's a ton of flowers and tiles and coral stuff and whatnot in that baggie, and just to get that stuff out and make a mosaic just straight out of that bag would be like a fun time and a half. So that was what was in the Bricks by the Bay. Oh, and there was a magnet. The magnet's on the fridge. So yeah, good times. I'm loving that Mysterio headpiece. Makes me wish I didn't get 4 packs of the Riot pack. You did the same thing. Had I known I was going to get them in the Bricks by the Bay package, yeah. Like I found the one. I located like 2 more in the store. I was like, all right. And then I kind of tucked behind Duplo poly bags. I'm so wrong. And then I was like, all right, at a later date, I'm going to come back and get these once I get this all figured out, see what's in here and see exactly how many of these I need. And then I would have had to locate another one. So, but special shirt today, Pride Month. This is a very old shirt. Very old shirt. This dates back to the 90s. Yeah, very old shirt. So, well, shout out to the Red Bank, New Jersey crew. Any thoughts on the Lego Ideas typewriter? Yes, I want to see it. That's my thought. I mean, because we heard, right, but we haven't seen yet. So the teaser kind of dropped a little bit today. And my first thought, having watched Lego Masters a couple times that first episode, the person sitting there, in the teaser. And I don't know why they have an eye chart over here. Just probably because it has letters on it, and it's a typewriter. But so the shot is from behind, and the person has a longish ponytail. So my first thought was, is that Moto? Did they put Moto in a commercial? And I was like, no, that's not Moto. That's not Moto. So yeah. But yes, would love to see the typewriter. I think we heard that Wes Talbot was the one that was working on it. So that's super awesome. Wes brings, like, he's got a good eye for making something out of the world, but he also can look at it through a filter that enhances it, with his own like color palette and things like that. So I'm really excited to see what it looks like. I'm sure it's not going to be like an old electric Smith Corona or something like that. That's going to, but we'll see. Yet to be revealed. So we'll see it like in 2 days or something like that when they'll show it. Yeah, something like that. And I know Tricky Bricks does pins. When I was on Tricky Bricks, they reminded me to get a pin ready, and then because I had the internet problems that day, the whole pin thing probably got overlooked. But I have that pin, and I would like to share it with you now because it's not a Disney pin. This is the Tick Society, MOAV, the Mystic Order of Arachnid Vigilance. Vigilance. So yeah, I'm a member of the Mystic Order, and I've got my straw and I've got my spoon. So yeah, just putting that out there. Just a little something I wanted to share with folks because I didn't get to that day. And I just have like little things set around so I can just like take 2 seconds to talk about these things. All right, so like lighting is a thing in Lego, right? And Exoforce was a theme in Lego. And Exoforce came with little light bits and like fiber optics, but they were different fiber optics than the one like I had sent Richard this last week or so. It was a thicker bit. It's actually what I used on the back, and it's way over there tucked in the city, on the back of the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 cocoon that I had made. So those tubes are like bar size, so you can hold them in a minifigure's hand. You can clip them and stuff. And then they also fit into the end of these lights that came with the Exoforce figures. Now, Yeah, it is. It is a unique pin, yo. I would hope he would have approved. Otherwise, I got like PS2 game pins back here. I've only got one Disney pin. Um, but yeah, so I took. Yeah, you definitely can't see that too well. So yeah, these bad boys are shining bright. I replaced the batteries in them. If you need to get batteries like this, don't go to a store around you. Go to Amazon and search for the battery number that you find in here. When you do, it'll pop up with like a 10 or a 20 pack. It'll be like $5 or $10. Go that route, because like otherwise, if you're like checking hearing aid batteries and things like that, it's like $5 for like 2 or 3, and that's no way to live. So get them off eBay, replace them. It's really easy. These ones you have to kind of push in here like with one of those small handheld. Of course, it's handheld. One of those miniature screwdrivers. You just kind of pop in there, get that top off, and replace it, and be good. Now you're gonna have to worry about not upsetting the diode too much when you take that out of there, because it will kind of move around a little bit. It's just kind of braced in by the top piece of plastic. So definitely an investment worth the while, especially if you're making MOCs, or you want to refresh your old sets that are just like too awesome to give up, because that's kind of what Exoforce was. It's pretty awesome. And I really can't say that enough. I didn't get enough Exoforce sets at the time, but when I look back on it, like that's where we first really got mechs in Lego. That's where we first really got a little bit of influence from Japanese culture, as far as beyond like straight up classic ninjas. Like that was it at that point, right? And you maybe had 1 or 2 samurai roaming around out there, like they're Ronin or something. But you didn't really have like anime inspired type stuff, and Exoforce was the first one to really do that. And then when Exoforce went away, I think a lot of those folks ended up moving over into Ninjago, or maybe Ninjago started kind of around that time. I'm not 100%. Those are wild years. And I was way caught up in like doing a Harry Potter Hogwarts build at the time. So like all this other stuff, it only would really come into my mind if it was something that I needed for the MOC and it was on clearance. But yeah, so 2 lights refreshed like that. Also, sound bricks and the newer light bricks, you can do the same thing too. Those take a little bit more. They take like 3 batteries each. These each just 1 battery, good to go. Boop, boop. And then you can also put a translucent bar down here, and then I've got a couple glow in the dark bars too that you can do that with. All right, so that's that. I got my stuff all set up on this little table, so I can go like from topic to topic without having too much of a hang up. All right, so we have talked about the Bricks by the Bay stuff. I'm not going to open this fig because I've already got them over here, and I mean, if there's some kind of call in the con to use the fig that comes in this for something, some kind of build or something like that, then I'm just gonna bust out my other one. I just might hold on to this. I might give it away. I don't know. I haven't done any giveaways because I'm miserly, yeah, or something like that. So, but who knows? Maybe I'll do like a subscriber drive, because I've kind of been stagnant like around 270 for subscribers for forever. And I mean, I'm not too worried about it. Like, I'm not doing this to get subscribers. I'm not doing this to get paid. I'm not doing this to get like some kind of lifestyle from this. I'm doing this because I love Lego and I love to talk about Lego. And you get in the habit of talking about Lego, and then you just kind of have to talk about Lego. So, I got to get it out somewhere. And the wife definitely doesn't want to have that conversation with me. It's like I can breach the subject of Lego lightly, and sometimes if it plays into the topic of conversation, that's okay. But sometimes you can just see the eyes get that like dead glaze to them, like, God, here we go again. So I try and keep those topics to a minimum. So I need another outlet, and this is it. So hopefully it continues. We'll see. Fingers crossed. As my dad would say, God willing and the creek don't rise. But that's not a phrase I use for reasons. But yeah, here's something non-Lego real quick where I'm going to talk about. This is not like maybe it is. But I am addicted to the series Ace Combat. It's not a flying simulator. It's more arcadey than that. But I mean, it's a flight game. It's been around since PlayStation 1. And I've been playing every iteration for it. I even bought an Xbox 360 to play Ace Combat 6, which was not great. And then I beat that, and then I got Beautiful Katamari, and then I beat that, and then I sold the system. So I bought it for 2 games and got rid of it. But that was far after the life cycle, so I didn't pay as much as you might worry. But these are just some of the squadrons I flew under: Bone Arrow Squadron in Ace Combat Infinity. For Ace Combat 4, Mobius 1 from PlayStation 2 era. The Espada, which were actually adversaries that you flew against, but once Ace Combat Infinity came around and I was able to get my own plane, I got some of the Espada rigs and their paint jobs, their liveries on there, and just tore stuff up. And then from Ace Combat 5, of course, the classic Ghost of Rosgrees, the Sand Island Squadron. Because like once you get into that mindset, and especially because I played Ace Combat Infinity for like 3 or 4 years. And that was one of those free-to-play games where, of course, you buy fuel and you get like so much fuel a day, and you can keep flying if you get more fuel. So, you know, there is stuff goes down that way. But like, you know, and those things, and this is why I had to quit Facebook, because it was those dang Zynga games that, you know, just got you into checking back in like every 30 minutes so you could do something else on them. So I was able to distance myself from Facebook from that. But Ace Combat presented a whole different difficulty, and I'm not going to toot my own horn too much, but I'm pretty good in the air. So like when you have that behind you and you know you're good and you want to get out there and you want to prove yourself, you just keep doing it. So that's a video game rabbit hole that we're now emerging from. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Kazunori. No. But I wanted to thank everybody on the Ace Combat team for all the life that they've stolen from me. All right, so there's that. No worries, Zach. I'll be here. I'm just talking now. So we got a pencil. This is one I used in the photo I took on Instagram for the Duck Amuck with Daffy Duck, where he's got the flower thing going on, and you know you got that Bugs Bunny's got the pencil point in there. So yeah, it's a little brick built pencil. Some Technic stuff, some spacers and axles, and then down on this end it's a couple bushings and whatnot, and then a little coral tile on the end. So I built this, and everything else lately I've been tearing down, but for some reason I like to keep this out, because when somebody sees it, they like at first they're like, why haven't you sharpened that pencil? Then I just toss them the pencil, and then I get the eye roll. So yeah, that's how that happens. Also, still trying to quit smoking. I even have a placebo brick cig here, so that hopefully I can move in that direction. Hopefully. What else do we have on the table today? Okay, so last time we were here, and we were talking about like what mock to go for, and it was between Babu Frick, who is kind of finished up there. He's looking all right. I feel like something could happen with the eyes, but I'm also feeling like the part hasn't been created yet to make those eyes work just like I want them to. So Babu's going to sit up there and just kind of chill and be awesome and wait for dark tan 3x3 plates, or 3x3 domes, like the dishes. He's gonna wait for those to be created, and then we're gonna go back in there and work on them again. But yeah, so for now he's chilling up there. But remember that day, if you may or may not, if you were here, that I was like, all right, we're gonna work on Babu Frick, or we're gonna work on a shuttle, because I had the Overwatch shuttle that I was gonna break down, and did. So yeah, I had all that sitting in a drawer, just like waiting for something to happen with it. Plus I had like a little shuttle canopy from an older Lego. Let's see, there we go. 2 pieces down from an older Lego set that I picked up on Bricklink for like a dime. And then I got just arrived today, this little tail section, also for like 3 or 5 cents, something super cheap, because you know, that's how that goes. I mean, pick up these pieces that fell, and then we'll go for there. All right, so yeah, So yeah, I was like, which one am I going to do? And then it was a very close vote, but Babu Frick won out in the end. And I just want to let you know that I did end up following. Hey, what's up, Hooded One? Ahoy, hoy! I did end up following up on that shuttle build after I got Babu done, and this is just in the last week here that I've done this. But yeah, I broke down the Overwatch shuttle, and because I've had shuttle fever, I want the Discovery, but I got no place to put the Discovery. Not to mention I don't have any money to get the Discovery because I got the Daily Bugle over there. So the coffers have to replenish before I can bring anything else in. Also, space has to settle a little bit as well, but we're working on that. So I can't get the Discovery at this point in life. And so I wanted to do something with the shuttle. And I had the Overwatch shuttle over there, which I built and I kind of liked, so I kept it up. But I totally bought that set just to get the figures. And so I knew that set would have a short life. And so I took that and I got the shuttle pieces here and did some rearranging things. And so I made a shuttle. And yeah, this is pretty much just stuff I had on hand and stuff from that set. I switched out things for these bay doors, a couple of panels from the hidden side of the lighthouse. So like one layer of that is black now. So I'm going to have to go through it and stripe the whole thing, which I'm okay with. Like it needs a visual boost. It does a little bit, but I got this. And this is not a traditional, like it's mostly traditional space shuttle design. There are a couple funky things going on with the wings. Because like the space shuttle has a very specific shape for the wings, right? And this was the best that I could do with the wedge plates that I had on hand. So I kind of went with that, got the shape as close as I could. And I was like, well, to be able to hold the thing together, to be able to get it to work and use some of those stickered Overwatch pieces and leave the stickers on, I did a little funkery with it. And also, like, these are stubbier than they should be. These should be a little bit, a bit longer out here. But there's more buildup and more stuff on the wings. Like there's extra fins here. There's extra buildup on the body. So it's like Space Shuttle 2.0 or something like that. And this would be more for interplanetary travel and not so much a launching from the thing, disposing of a couple of bits, and then and falling to Earth in a ball of flame. No, this would be more of a slow re-entry, and exit. This would be able to leave the atmosphere on its own. That's the idea behind this thing, or at least that's what I started justifying once I didn't have the actual bits to put in there. It is my own build, actually. Is Bezos in it? You know what? I don't have a Bezos figure, but my Sig Fig can probably double for Jeff Bezos in a pinch, right? I mean, it doesn't have the funky eye, but I'm sure I got a head around here with a funky eye I can put in there. But yeah, so yeah, it's my own mock. I just started going to town and knew, like, I had this canopy, and so everything was kind of based on that, going back into it. I had a whole ton of white pieces that I was saving just to work on this and get it all set and ready to go. But yeah, and there it is from the backside, and even got a little bit of that little fin bit there on the back by the by the exhaust. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it, yo. Yeah, it's my own thing, and it's let's see. I haven't done much work with the interior yet, other than transfer this this little bit over from the Overwatch shuttle. It took some doings to get this built up a little bit, because I had this underslope here that goes with it. But when you put those together, it looks like a duck's beak. It doesn't look appropriate. So you need a little bit more of a gap in there to add the space. So I had to bump that up. It took a little bit of work in and a little bit of back and forth. And also this section here is removable too. So you can have like a living area, living quarters in here with the figure. And then I did have a kind of a hint of a doorway earlier on in the build, suggested to where you could pass from one area to the other for like EVA and things like that. Does it fly? It flies. Not well, but it flies, I assure you. It swooshes. It swooshes. I can tell you that. But you kind of, to get a good handle on it, you get a grip back here, but that just gives you more swooshability. All right, I'm gonna chill on the swooshing a little bit. I got beverages here. The landing gear. I mean, of course, in my mind, every time I do landing gear, I want them to be retractable. Just because that's me, and of course they're not. And every time I fail at that, and so I never even attempt it most of the time. But they're small enough, and you can just pop them off, toss them in the loading bay. There you go. You're in flight. But yeah, so like I grew up in Florida, and one of my favorite Florida is a place of destinations, right? The people who live there do, and like most of them didn't come from Florida eventually. But there are a lot of theme parks in Florida. I mean, you got your Disney, sure. You got like Busch Gardens. You've got the list. Honestly, the list just goes on and on. But one of the wonderful things that's in Florida is Kennedy Space Center. It is on the east coast of Florida, Cape Canaveral and all that. And I visited that multiple times as a kid because it was like my favorite place to go because they had a rocket garden. So like all the recovered bits from Titan missions, from Saturn missions, not all the bits, but like they had an example of each rocket laid on its side out there for you to take a look at and walk in around in between and just be like in awe of the size of these things, as well as getting to see certain STS things and walking past, like it was an early prototype setup of the engines, but it was like full size, like it was one that they worked to it is for testing and things like that to see if it would actually take the the fuel and things. I don't know, like all the engineering whatnot and rigmarole, but it was a prototype testing for the 5 exhaust bit, and walking up to that and seeing like how massive that was compared to like humans is just insane. Plus, when we were in New York, we went on the Intrepid where they have like the Enterprise on there. And so you get to walk around the Enterprise. And that was the first time Tiffany had ever seen like a shuttle in real life in the flesh up close. And she was just like, oh my God. And, it's really cool because when you get under there, you see all the individual ceramic tiles that make up the bottom of the thing, to keep the heat shield essentially. So that when you re-enter the atmosphere, the entire craft doesn't burn up in theory, right? But I mean, you lose one of those ceramic plates, the entire craft is susceptible because that one weak point is going to let in that heat, and it comes on so fast and so hot, it'll spread, and then more stuff is going to pop off. So like the catastrophe would that event would chain really quick. Yeah. So yeah, there's that thing. I made a shuttle. What else do I have at hand that I'm going to talk about? Oh yeah. So I don't really buy Harry Potter sets anymore. Or when I do, it's generally something that's been on clearance, like deep clearance. But we're talking about flying today. But man, beyond that, like I love the Phoenix. Like it's my favorite mythological creature. And so I had Fox pre-ordered for some time because, well, I like Phoenixes. And my intention was to get Fox and turn it into a totally different Phoenix altogether. Totally different Phoenix. It would be the Phoenix from the comic book Phoenix by Osamu Tezuka, which is a very different looking bird. And I'm going to reach and show you just exactly how different. So this is a version of the Tezuka Phoenix. And so she's all yellow, maybe even buttery yellow, or some highlights of the flame yellow, but certainly not red. And the neck is going to be a different thing altogether because this one here, they have that tube, but they don't make that tube in yellow or flame yellow or anything like that yet. Cornado, what's going on, yo? Just talking Phoenix right now. So I ended up getting that, and with the intention of turning it into the other. But once I got that constructed and put together, and I mean, it is a marvelous thing. The flight mechanism, I believe it's the exact same thing as Hedwig, is awesome. But yeah, I like it. And I mean, I could turn this into a Cardinal really easy or something like that if I wanted to. But having constructed that, I realized immediately that there was no way I was going to be able to make the one Phoenix from that Phoenix. So gathered up all my yellow last night, and I started working on Phoenix. So yeah, here's the very beginning of that, because I didn't have a lot of yellow. I've got a bit, but as far as like long plates and stuff, I'm sure it's like tied up in the city. I'm looking at some tan plates I can get out of there pretty quick now. So I'm going to be working on that in the next week or so. So right now I just have the body of a bird with some longer legs here, and it had to, to hold this weight and keep upright. I had to do some workings here on the mechanisms for the legs. So it's moved by a friction ball and it's held in place like that. So it can stand up pretty decently on its own. But the alternate thing is, like, it's got no head yet and no wings and no tail. The tail is going to be kind of elaborate. The wings are going to be like huge. I just put in a Bricklink order for hopefully what will turn out to be most of the feather pieces for the wings. But the head is going to be another thing entirely to come up with. It's going to take a lot of experimentation to get it right to the point where I'm going to be happy with it. Oh, thanks, yo. The feet I had to really do some working on. That took that took a lot of trial and error, mostly error. But yeah, now we're in a good spot. But once I get this thing set, and I set it on the thing, and then I walk away and go have a cigarette last night. So I got my eyes off for a second. I come back in the room and I take a look at it, and I'm thinking I just made it like I made a Lego rubber chicken is what I essentially did. So yeah, nice piece of cheese. Thanks, yo. Yeah, like it's just whatever I've got that will work in the color that will kind of get me that shape. So there's no telling what I'm going to end up using. But yeah, so let's see, where are we at now? We talked about the Phoenix. We talked about Bricks by the Bay. I made a little segue into Ace Combat. Talked about the Tick for a hot minute. We talked about the Bugle versus the Ninjago City Gardens and how the Bugle is cool. The Ninjago City Gardens is actually much better value and minifigure storage. So we talked about the shuttle, STS Debo, which is not an official shuttle, but it is a shuttlecraft of some sort. And then I went off on a whole tangent about growing up in Florida and being just an ass fool. Incidentally, side note to that, Challenger blew up 1986. I watched it from my front yard. I had the day off school. I played sick. And the shuttle launch, because I could watch shuttle launches from my yard. And yeah, you see what you usually see is you just see that white streak just going up with a little bit of a flash on top of it. But that day it got so high and it kind of did this and then puff. So yeah, I watched that firsthand. So yeah, that's something fun about growing up in Florida in the 80s. But here's one of the main things I want to talk about today. And Cornado is here, so it's more than appropriate. So Cornado has a mock series, a mock team that he's working on called the Fully Armored Reptilian Transport Squad. All right, so there's a great acronym, FARTS for short. And I absolutely loved it ever since I've seen it. And then I was working on Fritz around the turn of the year, and Cornado had mentioned that Fritz could go up against the Fart Squad with a couple of like as a kind of a battle thing, like an army of robots versus an army of dinosaurs that are armored, which that's awesome. So I've been kind of working on that a little bit here and there over time. And Cornado had he created a double agent to get into the robot squad, which I'm gonna go a little bit more into the crazy history that I've come up with this thing in a second. But I'm gonna show you the latest thing I did. This is my secret agent that will go and infiltrate the Fart Squad. It's T-Rex with a W. And yeah, this is just like all the black pieces and some dark gray I had, and just put them in a big pile and tried to make a dinosaur, but kind of tried to make it with an eye of robots who maybe aren't the smartest, trying to dupe lizards. So yeah, it's we'll say whimsical. Yeah, we'll go with that. Although that's not really a term somebody can self-ascribe to something. But yeah, so I've been working on him. Doesn't have a lot of weight there to carry that, but with the posture that it holds, it keeps that face just right. It's dope, yo. Thanks, yo. And then like if you've seen Cornado's ones, like that the weapons on the back and stuff are just like intricate and awesome, look super cool. And I kind of dropped the ball a little bit on mine, so they're just kind of like strafing phalanx guns, attached to a huge dinosaur. But yeah, so the feet, I went like chunky, old schoolish robot feet a little bit with it, and knee joint and hip joint. For the arms here, for the little baby T-Rex arms, I use these old Bionicle ones that are like, there's a lot of attachments going on here to get this just right. But they're actually more useful than the actual T-Rex arms, so good for that. They're actually like what is it, Throwbot disc launchers or something like that. But the thing of it is, it's a double agent, so it's got to have like something, like a minifigure that would appear like it's going to be, one of the gang. And so I worked out this dude who's like a robot created by robots to look like a minifigure, and they didn't exactly have the parts on hand. So what you have here, this guy's name is Mert. Pull that down a little bit so you can see it. Yeah. So we got Mert, and Mert is kind of just the world's worst attempt at a minifigure. That's what I was going for, and I think it kind of worked. I wanted to have both arms the same, but I was like, I don't have enough pieces to do it symmetrically. But that's okay because it's going to be Mert. He's going to look awful anyway, purposefully awful. And so yeah, so there's Mert. He's running the thing, but Mert doesn't even have like his own like control of things. Mert is being run by something else. So both the dinosaur and Mert are run from the cockpit inside the head of the dinosaur with a gastromech droid. Yeah, that's right. I feel very clever for coming up with that. A gastromech droid. So gastronomy, gasoline, kind of a double thing there. So the gastromech droid just runs the ship, and so now I'm going to go and dazzle you with a little bit of the behind the scenes story for what's going on. Why are these robots fighting these lizards? Well, I'm going to need to hydrate for this one, yo. Oh, so human. Yeah, it's very human. Truckosaurus. Yeah. I was a little inspired by that too. Like when I got it going, I was like, I need like machine chompy stuff. And I had seen like, what do they call it? Is it Robosaurus? Like the real life one? I had actually seen it. They crammed it into the Breslin Center where MSU plays basketball, and it was loud. It was noxious. Like the whole place was just like, and you couldn't even breathe. Why would you do a monster truck show inside a basketball arena? I just don't know. I don't get that, but they did it, and I saw it, and I could like, I was in the top sections, and I could still feel the flame coming off that thing. Yes, I did just crack open a tab. Get down with your bad self. All right, so the story behind the robots and whatnot, robots versus the thing. So I was trying to think how would the robots be fighting these dinosaurs? And best thing I could come up with is like they're time traveling robots that go back in time to try and turn more dinosaurs into future petroleum. And Brickworm actually pointed out the other day that there was kind of a flaw there. Where she's like, wouldn't you want more dinosaurs? So wouldn't they be going back to breed the dinosaurs to make them dead? Well, what they're doing is they're trying to make sure that they go into the right layer at the right time, the epoch era, to fill it in just right to make more of a rich thing. So that's the kind of the story justification I'm going for that. But the thing is called Right Now. I'm gonna change it around to make a better acronym, so it'll meet the level of farts. So it's Sentai Robo Snack Foods Acquisition, but I think I'm going to switch that around a little bit. So it'll be Snack Food Acquisition Robo Sentai. Okay. So, I mean, it makes just as little sense as it did the first way, but this way around, the acronym is SARS. So let me know if I've went too far. Please feel free to chime in. But I think I'm going to go with SARS. I think it's switch around and be Snack Foods Acquisition Sentai Robo. And of course, the Snack Foods here we're talking about is the oil. So I'm going to show you a couple of the characters because I made a fresh one last night. On top of having this one over here, I've got most of these cats stored in the basement because they're larger size robots. A lot of them from Bionicle. The team is probably around 10 or 12 right now. But we'll start off with the newest one from last night. Fart and SARS. Yeah. We're definitely showing our level of maturity with this. All right, yeah, we're gonna go with SARS then. But yeah, so I made this guy last night, and like I've just been when I got into doing this, I raided a couple people's Bricklink stores for all their 3 cent, 5 cent Bionicle pieces and just like loaded them up. So I've got stuff in here I can't even use. I got Hero Factory, I got all that. But so what I did here is I don't know what these things came with. Like I've seen it, but like I never had the set. But like these were super cheap. And so, yeah, I just kind of stacked that on these, and I got those claws for a different reason altogether. And yeah, so like I made this dude last night. I was like, oh, that looks kind of fresh a little bit. Plus, I was able to use up those head bits. Yay! So yeah, so this is a new guy. I don't have a name for it yet. They're all gonna get names eventually. But yeah, so they're all kind of like Bionicle. Well, most of them except for Fritz and the one who runs the time gate. So he's kind of like Heimdall in the Thor universe or Marvel universe, if you want to think of it that way. So he's got like this big circular jetpack thing on his back that kind of generates. It can generate a portal anywhere to get them back to the Sentai headquarters. And the reason I went with Sentai for the name is because I got going back to Exoforce, those big orange crane bits that kind of like make like the Sentai fortress for the Exoforce, like their doorway, their entranceway. So I got a lot of those and made like a bigger one and left the stickers on there. So like it still says Sentai Fortress on it. So I was like, well, I can just like keep the stickers on there, tie the name into the thing, and it'll kind of work. Cause I mean, Sentai means like squad or force, something like that. So yeah, that's why we had that. So that would be the portal that they get back to at the thing. Person can make the portal anyway. Yeah, so I mean it's they can time travel and do things, but like the story's getting a little bit deeper now. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it, yo. Thanks, NATO. So like things are getting crazy because in the Brickanista Broadcast Network, the BBN universe, discussions have been going on. Fingers have been pointed at Stephanie and crew of the Friends universe because how do they get those Jeeps? How do they get those helicopters? How do they get those submarines? Why are they always rescuing these animals? What's going on there? Where's the funding coming from for this, right? I mean, there are questions that need to be answered. Why do they have all these small businesses in Heart Lake City and they're still in school? There's something going on there. They're not just great entrepreneurs because, honestly, those places aren't packed. So my thought, they're fronts. They're for money laundering is what it is. So where's this money coming in that they got to clean from? Well, of course they're doing a black market rare animal trade is what they're doing. But having put themselves in that criminal light and moving forward, they've reached out to the evil Mr. Business, the Octane dude, Octane. So Friends have now gotten a little side deal going with Octane to go back and produce more oil, or to enrich the oil fields that are existing by killing more dinosaurs in that area to bump it up. So business dude had employed Stephanie and Friends to create well or sub license the thing out, or whatever the words are. I'm sorry, they're just lost now because I'm so far down this rabbit hole. So Stephanie and crew are tasked to design these robots, which they farm it out. Okay, there we go. They farm out the work to somebody else, which I was thinking at one point, bringing in Super Brainy Baby from Brickanista's thing to be one of the persons running that bit, creating these cats. But I mean, who knows at this point, really? Who knows? It's going to be a little bit further before I can get this idea like 100% clean in my head, because it's kind of spiraling right now. And I mean, the cool thing about Bionicle, and the reason I wanted to go with that, because if I do, and I mean, I think this has a shot of being something that I will like enough to have the ambition to animate it. And if that's the case, Bionicle bits are, you've got more movement with them. They hold their shape really well, or hold their position really well. And they're pretty versatile, right? Plus, you don't have to worry about mouth movement and things like that, right? If you're doing a lot of robots. I mean, Fritz has a mandible. So Fritz could actually be animated talking, but everybody else is pretty much all set. But I do have a couple more over here I can show you. I'm just kind of talking and trying to hydrate at the same time. You're the champ, Cornado. You're the champ, man. You came up with farts, yo. I mean, that's the fart. Like, the first time I saw that, I was like, this is why they put studs on these things. Like, there's no other reason for those studs being there than for this to be achieved. And yeah, it just made my day in like 18 different directions. All right, so a couple of dudes that got going on here. You got this cat. I think we're gonna call him Blondie. I'm not sure. Some of them got names, some of them still don't yet. So you got this blonde cat here, and I mean he's got some loose joints. Maybe not the greatest guy in the world. Maybe not the smartest. Like most of the Sentai group are not smart robots. Fritz is probably the only exception. But like they want to look cool, but they really have no fashion sense. So that's kind of the direction I'm going with these robots. So he's got the big knee pads. He's got the blue shoes. Got to be the shoes. Got to be the shoes. A super huge thing there, and like a big poofy yellow hairdo. As well as claws, coming off his shoulders, just because that's the kind of level of thing we're going for here. So we have there are builds that go that far. You saw the little dude I did earlier, which I don't know why I like this so much, but I do. He's got to remind me of something. When you see him standing with those feet just kind of clawing in there. And then this guy, I went back and worked on a little bit last night. I had him early on, but like thumbs were an issue. Thumbs still kind of are an issue with this build, because I use those like Cerberus heads. Is that what they're from? Or Fluffy, an earlier version of Fluffy or something like that. Anyway, that's what I got here for the hands, because I had a few of them, and I was like, that'd make a pretty cool hand, but they don't have like a good spot for an opposable thumb. So I just kind of click these things here on the top, and they're looking like thumbs, so I'm going with that. But the shoulders, I think the heads work pretty cool there. And this guy is all dark red and dark gray with blue highlights, and I just really dig that. But I put it on Instagram for a hot second. I was like, he was on there for like 10 minutes, and then I took him off. I was like, no. He still needs more work. We'll go back to the drawing board, and then we'll put him back on there when it's ready. So about that time, I kind of laid back from putting the Sentai guys on Instagram, because I wanted them to come together as a whole before they start, walking out there individually, making their debut at the debutante ball. Because that's what robots do. They have a debutante ball, also run by the friends. Because why wouldn't they? And then I've got this guy, and it's a transformer. I didn't set out to make a transformer. I just made like the ugliest thing like I could imagine making from Bionicle bits to look ugly yet super silly. So what we have here is a pterodactyl in disguise. So yeah, a big bird looking person thing here, right? But transforms. Let's see. Let's do the transformation here. And it's just like Technic panels on pins and things like that. ball joints that have a little bit more mobility in some spots, rolling up. And I mean, it comes back together pretty easily here. Pretty easy to transform. It's not like Metroplex or anything like that where you have to devote an hour of your life. Shout out to Metroplex. All right, so the dude here, like when it's all in robot form, has the biggest freaking pompadour like a robot could possibly have, and he's also got the blue shoes. Like these two cats hang out, you know. Say they've got essentially the same fashion sense. So he's got the flame orange or the neon orange there. He's got some of those. It's almost like a pearl dark gray going on for those wing bits and some of the stuff on his arms there, and mismatched fists just because trying to get like two fists that are the same color in a Bricklink store for this Hero Factory stuff, that's insane. It's highly unlikely. But yeah, so I've used a few bits there, and I mean it's a weird looking dude, right? You should like his hands before they became these, and I got another hand from somewhere. Were actually these lime green bits with white on it, which I mean made him look like a pugilist, which was kind of another weird route to go down with this dude. So like where he's at right now, yeah, robot fashion does not exist, or if it does, these guys haven't found it. They think they have, because I mean, dang, look at that hair. But I mean, but then yeah, I was folding them up last night. I turned them around. And I was like, oh my god, he just transformed into a bird. So yeah, that's another technique the Sentai group is going to use, the snack food dudes. Yeah. Yes, respect to Metroplex. Respect to Jetfire, especially. Well, I mean, they got the same colors, right? Also respect to Unicron, because like it's a planet. Got to watch out for that. All right, so yeah, that's just a handful of the Sentai cats there. I did get a Bricklink order in today. It arrived. Ordered it from Texas last week. It was supposed to arrive on Saturday. Arrived today. I went off on little diatribe about, you know, the mail and tracking and expectations and things like that earlier. So if you want to see me rant, go back there and check that out. I'll save that for now. But some awesome pieces showed up. And also here's the thing too. Caution: every time you get an order, be it bricks and pieces, be it from any Bricklink store, you want to check your invoice, double check you got everything right. Because I've had bricks and pieces orders come in that were missing pieces, and some that actually they threw some extra ones in there too. So just count your pieces. Trust me, you're gonna want to. And you know, if you're missing stuff, give a customer service. They'll like rapid express that stuff right out to you. They're good like that. So like I was missing two of those octagonal plates with the bar, you know, going all around it. Kind of another one. Yeah, it's I got two of these in black that didn't show up. So I contacted the person, and she was like, I'm going to get those right out today to you. So very cool. And I appreciate that. It was only like 26 cents worth of pieces, but they're getting it out there. And some Bricklink sellers are awesome like that. Like they'll get the stuff off right away. Some folks will just give you a refund, which is cool. I totally understand if it's not worth it to ship that. But I always appreciate folks going a little bit further above and beyond, because that's customer service, and that's what I used to do. Maybe I'll do it again. I don't know. I'm back in the market looking at jobs. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll be able to keep this time in the future, noon Monday thing. But like, if not, I'm going to try and get some other time going, because I got to talk about Lego somewhere, and I can't just keep doing it in chat. Because I mean, the typing sometimes, and you know, but I got this old Star Wars pod, and I mean, you've seen Friends pods and cubes and things like that, but they also had these little Star Wars pods. Most of you might know they're only 3 or 4 years old. That came out, and they had like little individual ship builds with a minifigure inside them. They were what, $15-$20, somewhere like that, maybe $12.99 each. And I got a couple of them. I got the globe sitting in there, and I got I I think it was Tatooine. I have split and sitting on top of Wayne Manor, looking like two domes there. Which, like, these are kind of versatile. You can do a lot with it. Plus, if you're doing a daily brick limit, this is 2 pieces. So, boom, right? And like they're mirrored pieces, so they're the exact same thing, and you can click them together in any way, and they're going to line up, right? They also did a Death Star like this. Now, I don't know if the Death Star was like 2 pieces with the dish in it or not, but maybe someday I'll get a hold of one. But yeah, so very cool little thing, very cool little globe. I wanted to have another one of these because I'm trying to think of a good photo situation for Galactus to be in, like to really show him off. So I kind of want to have a little bit of cosmos behind him. And so those hopefully will provide that. We'll find out. Interesting question. For me and for Cornado. Do you guys ever shop for Lego via eBay? Rarely. Because the thing about Lego is you want to get it for the best price you can. A lot of time that's going to be brick linked. Sometimes when you see things on eBay, they have no frame of reference for what price they're putting down. Or if they do, they're using previous things sold on eBay and Amazon to kind of gauge that. So they don't really consult what the AFOLs know as the kind of, agreed upon price range for certain things. So sometimes I can exceed that. But like if you go and you look, like the only thing I bought off eBay probably the last couple of years, Lego wise. Well, no, the only Lego set I've ever bought off eBay was the Creator 3-in-1 Blue Power Jet. And it was listed on there as missing a couple pieces or being incomplete. And they had pictures that they put on there of like the bags of set or the bags of parts that they had sitting around, the instructions, like a really tattered box. And like it was a buy it now price of $30. It had a couple watchers on it. But I mean, when you're missing pieces, you just don't know what's there and what's not there. But like gauging what I could from the pictures, like the larger pieces that I would need to get it, the larger dark blue pieces were generally going to be there, as well as the cockpit bits. So I took a shot. I took a gamble. I was missing 14 pieces. Like they got into step 3 or 5, somewhere around there, and then just abandoned the thing. Lost the initial build that they had gotten to for the structure for that. So I had to get a couple 14x14 Technic bricks as well as some other stuff. Some of the stuff I was able to crib right from my collection that I had on hand. I got the 14x14 or 1x14s from my collection, and then I replaced them later. Just so I could get that thing built. Yeah. And that was a great deal. Like $30 for a set missing 14 pieces that like used, you're going to be paying in the neighborhood of $80 or more right now. When it was initially released, it was $60. I kicked myself a couple times when I no longer saw it on the shelf and I kind of missed it. But at that time, I didn't really have the space to put it anywhere. Then I found out it was a Mike Psyche set. Had to go back and get it just because like the more and more I looked at it, the more awesome it got. And then I had to have a space for it. So yeah, that was the only time I bought on eBay, but it was a good experience. And I have been an eBay seller in the past. I spent a couple of years ago, like just selling out old comics and old action figures and non-Lego things and just kind of getting it out of the house. Even some Lego things, like I sold off a lot of my Harry Potter stuff, like the figures and some of the sand green rooftops and things like that. I just kind of wanted to get them out of my way to make room for other things and, put that fundage back into more Lego. So I ended up doing that. And like, I have respect for eBay sellers. I enjoy selling on eBay when I get into the groove. And there's also a bit of heartbreak and disappointment when nobody wants to buy a complete set of Next Men by John Byrne. Like, yeah, my expectations were way ahead. So that comic book stuff I was trying to sell. I still have those Next Men issues downstairs, and they're there. That's what happens. But yeah, so okay. Let's see here. Where did or when did you get your firehouse? Okay, there's a story for you. Tiffany and I love New York City. It's great. Like if you've never been to New York, you got to go to New York. It's a totally different environment from anything you've ever seen. Even if you've been to Chicago, LA, any other big city, It's not like those cities. It's totally not. Like New York is closer in type to like a dystopian or utopian future where everybody is really densely packed in and doesn't really talk to each other, and then you're just trapped in these like narrow corridors that extend on in a grid for miles. So it's a very weird vibe in that. Plus, people trying to exist as people. So I mean, you get kind of a, you know, the congestion of the Fifth Element a little bit in there, like when you go through New York. That being said, we love New York. I love the architecture. I love the environment. I love the not the smells, but you know, it's an awesome place to be. And they've got the flagship store, which is in Rockefeller Center. Lego does, which is awesome. If you've never been there, go there. And they've also got another store on 23rd Street. Well, down by 23rd. It's not like right on 23rd. It's like 23rd and Broadway, somewhere around there. But it's like right out by the Flatiron Building. Okay, which is one of my favorite places to be in New York. We always stay not too far from there. You're right, pretty much in the shadow of the Empire State Building. Matter of fact, can't even see it here, but up here in that corner is a picture from our hotel room the first night we stayed in New York together of the Empire State Building right outside our hotel room. And it was rainy and it was hazy and it was like lit up blue and like something just worked with the photograph. So it's up there and it's looking awesome. Yeah, multi-pass, totally multi-pass. Yeah, Nextman. Hey, Joel's here. Hey, what's up, yo? Yeah, Nextman. I mean, John Byrne's awesome, but it's like Jim Starlin. Like everybody makes great things, but then Jim Starlin makes Gilgamesh 2, which is a good read, but there's no way it's going to sell. So you're going to pick that up in dime bins, which is what I did. Yeah, total multi-pass. Lilo Dallas multi-pass. Yeah. So, God, where was I? New York City. All right, New York City. We're talking about the Firehouse. Do a little shifty here. Firehouse. So, being there at that time, Tiffany offered to get it right then because, like, she had a little cash on hand, and she, you know, because we were on vacation, she was looking to spend a little something on me, which I thought was awesome. But like, I thought that was too much to spend on me, you know. Plus, there was the whole we would have to walk 10 blocks with that thing to get it back to the hotel room. And I really wasn't feeling it that day, because when we do New York, we do it right. Like that time when we first went, when I got that picture over there, I counted up. We probably did 28 miles in the space of like 3 or 4 days, just trekking all over town. Not to mention, you know, steps inside museums and things like that. So yeah, we saw that. It was awesome. I wanted it. She knew I wanted it for a while. You know, I was like, that's like the ultimate Lego set. I still kind of believe it's the ultimate Lego set. So she saw it, knew I wanted it. It didn't get it there because I kind of do that on vacation. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to get this. I missed a very awesome Astro Boy figure in Chicago for the very same reason, because it was last day. It was like $90. I had like $300 I hadn't spent on the time, but I was like, no, I'm not gonna get it. But now I'm totally kicking myself because like it had all kinds of cool features, like Astro Boy's hand changed. I think it also had the guns coming out of Astro Boy's butt. So like cool things and like an opening chest, but I missed that because like that's a weird kind of mindset I have when I'm on vacation. Now take me out of vacation, I'm like, you know, buying Bricklink orders like left and right like a fool. So yeah, there was that. But you know, and then she ended up surprising me with that. A couple weeks after we got home, she ordered it. I think it was like one of her first orders on Lego.com. She got me that, and then told me it was coming in the mail, and we're all excited. I'm all excited. She's kind of excited because I'm excited. And then, you know, checking the tracking and everything, waiting for it to show up, and like we're in a house on a corner lot, so it's visible. Like the main thoroughfare is right out there, and then like apartments all back here. So this. A lot of traffic here all the time. And so a box that large, I was very worried because it wasn't showing up. Finally, it did show up. But Now here's the weird thing, and this is the only time it's ever happened to us at this house. This is very like secure location. It's a good neighborhood. Nobody fucks around with it. Sorry, I'm gonna find myself. I may have said a word. Nobody messes around with your mail here. Is my point. Man, I really just did that, didn't I? Okay, so yeah, nobody messes with your mail. Except for this one time, because like I found the box like on the back side of the house, like partially open. So whoever got the box thought they were getting something cool. Saw the Lego firehouse in there, and then for some reason decided it wasn't cool. So thankfully, because that person was extremely stupid, my parcel did not get stolen. Yeah, language multipass for sure. But I don't know. I try and keep a PG-13 in here. So going by the Transformers, the movie style of censorship, well, they got 2 swears in there, and they hit PG-13 so they could reach a wider audience. So I'm allowing myself that one because yeah, I screwed up. It happens. Why not? Hydrate. Totally hydrated. All right. So yeah, now I got 30 more minutes that I'm just going to be kicking myself because like I'm like, dude, you kept your language in check for so well for so long. Because I won't lie, I swear like a sailor. I really do. One F-bomb for PG-13. Yeah. So I was just making sure I was still within the tally there, and I was still good. Yeah. So yeah, I got like a half an hour left. Talked about Phoenix. Talked about language issues. I didn't show this. The Phoenix does come with Dumbledore and the Fox mini version. And now, like, somebody tell me, because I don't know. I really don't know. Because I haven't gotten like a Dumbledore. Maybe I did, but I don't think I've gotten a Dumbledore since like this latest resurgence of Harry Potter. Like I was totally in for that first round, like in the early thousands and whatnot. And then when I made that transition from yellow to flesh tone, I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I do have an old pasty faced Snape hanging around, but yeah, so yeah, I'm so screwed up right now. So yeah, looking at this face, right, that they got for Dumbledore. Let's see if I can get it in there and it be kind of focused. So you see what I'm talking about there? That kindly older gentleman looking face. Is it just me, or does that look like old dude from Jurassic Park, Richard Hammond? No, John Hammond, not Richard Hammond. Richard Hammond's from Top Gear. It kind of looks like John Hammond a little bit to me. So I don't know. I haven't gotten any Jurassic Park sets with him in it. I think he only in the like the entrance with the big T-Rex. I don't know. But cool looking figure, double-sided face. I don't really know sometimes why they put double-sided faces on people with beards, and even more strangely on Chima figures that have their entire heads covered up, except for like the eyes. And they'll be smiling in one and then kind of, make an aggressive face in the other, but the eyes don't really change, so you can't really read it with the mask on. But yeah, it does look a little bit like him. Or Wilford Brimley. Oh, shucks. Yes. Wilford Brimley. Yeah. Liberty. Now you got the wheels turning. Wilford Brimley. Shoot. And there might be something to that. I'm gonna. That's gonna be kicking around in the old noggin for a couple of weeks here, and hopefully something comes of it. If I can. Oh, Cocoon. Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon. Nobody would get that mock if I made Wilford Brimley and Don Amici standing by like a swimming pool. Nobody would understand what the heck was going on. So that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, here come the Cocoon mocks. So, but yeah, probably nobody's going to end up getting that. So I'm probably just going to let the Wilford Brimley thing go. But I can't seem to let it go. Yeah. So shoot. What else do I have in arm's or link that I can talk about. Oh, I put this in the subject thing and I put it in the title and we haven't even talked about it yet because we got a half an hour yet. What better way to talk about, or well, syntax is like failing me right now. What better thing to talk about in this last half hour than Lego Masters Season 2, Episode 1 that came out? And please chime in the chat. Let me know what you thought about it. We'll discuss. Because like I got a half hour. I would love to talk about this. Like I've watched the episode, watched it when it was live, watched it a couple more times on Hulu. Hulu pops them up on their streaming service. For me, like the broadcast time was 8 p.m. here on the East, and Hulu had it up there at 3 a.m. And that's generally what they do for every program. That's just so everybody in all the time zones across the U.S. can get their view on without having any spoilers or being able to jump the gun by going on Hulu. So that's why they do that. It's not any kind of handicap at all. And we watch it on cable, but I could watch it over the air as well. But like for signal reasons and the crappy quality of my cable, I don't really get to watch it in HD until I watch it on the Hulu. And I love Hulu so much. If you do have Hulu, I recommend highly getting the commercial-free package, because there was one summer, all they talked about, it was like the same Heineken commercial over and over again, every break. And so, yeah, the commercial thing paid for itself in not having to deal with that personal trauma anymore. Too much reality, yeah. But like you got to think here too. Like this is the first episode, so a lot of things that they got to get a lot packed into here. They've got to get you introduced to as many of the teams as they can, as thoroughly as they can in that time frame. So that's going to be a lot of interpersonal interactions and talking and things like that. So you're not going to have so much time looking at the builds and what they're doing, because there's too much to cram into there to get that. So like they've got to give you glimpses here and there, because there's not enough time. There's honestly not enough time to focus on all that stuff right at this point. Now, as we get a couple of teams eliminated, they'll be able to go more and more into the MOCs, and they'll be able to explore that more, during the course of the episode. But right now, there's a lot to get in there. I mean, they could have done the thing where they did like an hour and a half or a 2-hour first episode, which is something some TV shows do. However, they didn't go down that route. But if they would have done that, that would have been a first, somebody would have been eliminated on the first day. So that's how that tends to go with Fox, with reality programming. Now, I've watched a few reality shows in my time. Tiffany and I watch Hell's Kitchen. For better or for worse, we watch Hell's Kitchen. And I know it's got this, speed of editing kind of thing on all the reality shows do. But trying to cram as much info in there about everybody that you're looking at, and it's more of an introduction episode. So you kind of get a glimpse of how they work together. You kind of get a glimpse of the way they set up their build station. You kind of get a glimpse of their thought process, going through and making something, whole cloth out of the air. But like, and then like, if you're like me, you're looking at this and you watch it, and if you've seen it a couple times, you start to see what you would have done, or even if you're watching it the first time. Like I'm always like judging things. I'm sorry, folks, but I am. I'm always looking at things. How would I do this better? Like, okay, they said that this was a deficiency. Well, if you change up this, that, or that, fix it up. But I'm always making those calls too. And so like, especially with something like this, you want to watch it through a couple times, because you like in your first viewing, it seems like more reality than anything. But the reality is going on while they're doing all this building. So if you're watching it for the second or third time and you're paying more attention to what's going on the table and less to what they're talking about, interpersonally with Will or something like that, you get a little bit more insight to where things are. Like, was it Wayne and Zach? The brothers, their dragon, like seeing that and, watching that again at like the different stages of the build and seeing how like the segmented body of the dragon went together is just brilliant. And like, it was exactly how I figured it was going to go, because like I've been pausing like 45-minute commercials that we get on, the Lego Masters here and there before this whole thing even started. So I was taking like a serious look at those builds as much as I could. And Like that dragon, especially, I was like, okay, now if it went like that and me free flowing and interconnected inside each other. So, Snyder cut. Yeah. Diabetes. Too much reality. You need to watch it again. Yeah, they foxed it up with a little bit of drama, but Lego on TV will always be rad. It will for sure. Got to see the Snyder cut. It has structured Fox recipe script. Yeah, and I mean it's. I think what it is, especially with a show like this, and like Moto and Don were saying, like you had the contestants, and then you had probably another 150 people there that were all like camera people and boom operators and things like that, and just like so much production staff crammed in there. So with that, the cameras are going all the time. They're picking up a lot of stuff, and it's just it's a very different environment to build in than anything else. And plus, like they don't necessarily have to have that story structure down when they're doing this. You know, it could just be Will out there doing the thing, but they have so much footage after the fact that they can go through and they can make a narrative kind of from all this material, all this footage that they have. So all that is kind of done after the fact. So when they go out there, it's not scripted so much as you might think, but the way they edit it, the way they throw everything together, the way they, you know, set this next to that, it seems a lot more scripted because the editing is where the writing really takes place in these reality shows. Sorry, weird point there, but I finally got to it. I think they should do longer episodes. They should. They did longer episodes for Lego Master Season 2 in the Netherlands. I kind of wish they do that here. I wish we had more access to the other Lego Masters episodes or other Lego Masters countries programming. Like I see a little bit from Australia. I've seen just a hair from the UK stuff, but not much, like because they don't give us the access to it. I agree, they definitely crammed a lot in there, but it did feel a bit rushed. But overall, definitely worth watching and was glued to the TV. Yeah, like I say, you know, it's so jam packed in there that it's going to take a couple of viewings to be able to see everything as it's going on. And I mean, we remember from season 1 how we barely even saw. And I mean, there's 12 contestants now versus 10 on the first season. We barely even saw Richard and Flynn's like haunted fairground thing that they did for the theme park bit. So yeah, there's a whole lot to balance. I think it was a whole lot more evenly distributed this time around than it was in season 1 because we got a good glimpse at everything, and we got to see certain points of the process, like critical points in the process where things failed, decisions had to be made. You know, you had to go in one direction because like another one wasn't turning up, or you know, things kept failing and put you into a situation. Let's see. Those dudes live like 20 minutes from me. I watched too many times that I figured out first 5 teams eliminated. Yeah, you would think that. Here's my recommendation. Go ahead and write that down now. Put it in writing and then consult it and go back and then like have it as a little checklist to see just how right you got on that. Because that's another thing with the editing too. They can make it appear like, I mean, and this is editing with promos as well. Make it appear like somebody's going to be there episodes later where they're only going to be there for 2 more. So like we're going to see just how good these editors were in the end is what I'm thinking. But yeah, so I want to talk about a couple of the builds because it's what we do here. We build things, right? Like I can't stop building things. I've tried to stop building things and like there have been disastrous results. Nora gets in here and she starts building things. And so I have to kind of kick her out. Thankfully, she's been a little bit calm today. Quick aside, this is something else I got in the mail today. You see a little balloon behind me. I'm making a little fleet of balloons, and this is the stuff from the Raya set. Because there's no way I'm buying 2 sets for $80 to try and get that. So Bricklink for sure. There was a spot for a future challenge missing 5 teams. Right on. Well, I mean, yeah, and they're showing like little glimpses of these future challenges too, and like a lot of these challenges are, well, some of the ones, especially this. I think the one you're talking about is the suspended thing challenge, where you have to build from a suspended brick, And that was the Lego Masters Australia challenge. And a number of these ones are that we see, like the one where you have a tower on a shaking platform, and it's kind of a, you know, level of tectonic shift can it withstand. So that's another holdover from Lego Masters Australia. And the dudes who won that, their thing was so massively heavy that like the table couldn't even move and keep up with them. So like it was kind of sluggish, and you know, where everybody else is just like shaking really wild and just like gone in 5 seconds, where theirs was just like the thing was struggling to even move. So that's a pretty good strategy on their part. I don't think they did it on purpose, but like it was awesome. There was a spot for future. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, talking about a couple builds. And we know that our beloved Dawn and Moto were in this season. And Dawn, she conceptually, the entire parade float was done, and it was done in a very painterly manner. Like if you're a painter, and one of the things you're trained early on to do is consider the entire canvas at once, right? So if you're working on one spot, it's going to have to inform another spot, and you're going to need that spot there to have a dialogue with it. So you kind of want to work the entire thing up at once, so it gets that wholeness to it, right? That feeling of entirety. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But she had that. She had that for days, and like Zach and Wayne's for sure. The Sea Serpent with the Vikings, yes. But like visually, it was all tied together well. And unfortunately, time was a factor with Moto and Paris, because they spent so much time trying to get those robots set right, and working correctly, that they didn't pay any attention to pretty much the base and what was going around decorating it. Like you've got a couple Technic plates and stuff up there, but it just time became an issue there. It was too much focus on one thing. So something that like I think they learn, and other people are going to learn here, is if something's not working, don't waste too much time on it. Try working on something else, and while you're working on that other thing, you're going to start to think of solutions to get the other thing fixed. And that's kind of a way to approach that. But yeah, I knew the robots, they spent so much time on that, and then that skirt was just a little bit on the anemic side. So I really felt for them, but I thought because they actually did go through and get those motions in, to work correctly, that helped them out a whole lot. So that kind of put them a little bit above, because they were able to get that accomplished. And while the float itself may have been a little bit underwhelming, the motions kind of put that onto the back burner a little bit. The Midwest builders that did the sheep, which was awesome. Like, to get more movement in there, you're going to want a wheel of sheep moving, which I think was where their initial concept was going. But then it was going to be a situation where the wheel would be sitting too high on the float, so they wanted to lower it down a little bit. Plus, if they would have kicked the scale up, the scale was right. But what I was thinking, and it's like really tough. Like, how do you get that kind of movement into the thing when you got the kid on the bed? So what you'd have to do is, like, the center of the thing would have to be raised up a little bit, the bed and whatnot, so that you could get the sheep going. And it looked like what I would do is like have the sheep coming from behind the kid's head. So the kid would like be in two halves, like the bed would be in two halves, and the wheel would be going through the center of the bed. And then maybe some cloud stuff to hide, most of the wheel mechanism that you see. And then you just see the sheep going over top. That would be one solution that I would do for that. But that's a tough thing, getting so far down into the build and so far exhausted on time that you can't really go back and make big changes like that. So you got to come up with that stuff at the beginning. And then that's something that I think Richard brought up when he was talking yesterday about how much time do you spend planning versus, we got to get building, right? So, and I mean, if you don't have a clear idea of where you're going to go when you get into building, it's, you're going to be lost. You're going to be lost. So that's something there. I can catch up here from my rants.
Let's see. Moto and Paris didn't look like a team that was having fun or gelling.
Well, I mean, I think they were, but I mean, because Moto and Paris didn't really, build together before this. So I think a lot of that is, and I mean, it was the same with Sam and Jessica. And they, just a little bit more. There's the building going on, but there's also the team building going on, right? Like as they're going through and as they're making this stuff, they're getting more and more accustomed to each other's style and what their strengths are. So I'm thinking in the future, Moto is just going to start worrying about the project overall visually, because that's something he's more than capable of, just tying the whole thing together. Whereas Paris will be, the structure dude, the getting the nuts and bolts and the gears and whatnot in line so that everything works harmoniously, and maybe a little bit on the character side. I'm not too familiar with Paris's builds. I really do want to check them out though.
Let's see. Moto confirmed it. I know Moto applied with another Denver AFOL.
Now, see, yeah, that's what I was thinking he did. So the fact that when he went in there solo, I was, well, not solo, but with a just kind of a thrown together team. That did put him at a little bit of a disadvantage, but I think he was an early favorite for the Lego Masters Season 2 casting people. So I think they knew that they wanted Moto. The other cat didn't really pan out so much, so they brought in Paris, who was he's got some engineering background, and he's teaching kids, engineering through Lego. So good stuff, right?
Let's see. I asked Moto in another stream and I didn't really get a confirmed answer.
Well, I mean, they probably knew each other from the whole casting thing, because I didn't get very far in casting, honestly. I did an interview, sent in, photos and videos of my work and things like that, and then waited for a month and a half, 2 months without ever hearing anything back. So there were a lot of people in that same boat. So being in the dark like that and not really knowing how far the process goes, had no idea how far in the process I was. But I mean, by the time like January come around and we hadn't really heard anything, I was pretty sure that I wasn't making it through. But I think what happens is, like, you're sending in the photos and stuff, and then you do the thing, and then like they decide that, they might want to take a look at you. So then they bring you into a real place, have you do some building, and see how you gel with your partner, in situ. So I think there was maybe a little bit of that beforehand with Moto and Paris, so they could kind of get a little bit familiar with each other. So they didn't just go in there and it was like 30 minutes of like, "Hi, how are you? My name's Moto." So they had a little bit of time beforehand to kind of get on the same page. So we'll see how it develops from here on out. I'm very excited to see what these guys go with next, because I think the next episode we're going to be talking about is explosions, right? And one of the promos that they've been showing so far for this episode is Moto and Paris talking to Will, and they got their stuff out on the table, so you can kind of see like it's going to be another Lego Masters Australia thing. It's going to be a nice little city area or situation like that, and then it's going to explode. But it's going to be like slightly different than the way they went for it on season 1 with Lego Masters in the US. So let's see. I'm talking about different builds. So yeah, looking at Don's, and then the way I'm doing this, the way the wings flapped or didn't flap, and the weight on those. One of the things one of the ways to solve that was to be able to make lighter wings, which would have been tougher. Especially to make them as detailed as you wanted, the way Jack had, and they were looking very nice the way he had them together. There were some beautiful wings for sure, and of course you're going to want to salvage that because you spent so much time making them. But trying to get those things to move, like, you're going to have to. Well, thankfully Dawn went and did some research after that and got some bits. So she's from this point forward, she's more familiar with power functions and what it can and can't do. But one of the things you're going to want to do, like if you're trying to move all that weight with a gear system, especially because I believe she was using a powered up hub that's got the motor inside it, right? Which would be a space saver on the inside. But I think what you're going to need to do is start from a gear system that's further back and have a lot of gears kind of ramping it up so that it can so you can get that torque that you're really going to need to move those up. And you're going to have to do that by down gearing and all kinds of extra stuff. It'd probably take me, honestly, good 2 hours to figure out how to get those wings to move right. And that is only with hands-on experimentation with trying to get things to move. But I mean, it's possible. But there's going to be some rebuilding that you'd have to do. You'd have to have some pieces coming lower out of the wings to kind of do a cross thing, so that when they flap, you'd actually be. So yeah. Anyway, there's stuff, but it would be very difficult to do. And I think that their pivot that they did with making the legs move instead worked excellently to the way they had the gear set. And I really enjoyed it quite a bit. Hey, Brickanista's here. Hey, what's going on, yo? We're just talking now about Lego Masters Season 2. Off subject, and you may have something already, but are you submitting to Bricks by the Bay? I am submitting to Bricks by the Bay. I don't know what I'm submitting to Bricks by the Bay yet. So I've taken Galactus. Galactus is the only thing I had in BrickCon, and then it was Galactus and a couple other things in Bricks LA. So now I'm like, do I put Galactus in again, or has he kind of run the convention circuit deal? But I've got a couple other things I wanted to put in, like Supreme Intelligence over here, maybe Syphilinali, the King, and the Prince, Babu I want to put in, the Thanos mask I want to put in. I'd love to be in a situation to be able to, say that, hey, my city is finally presentable, and I would like to submit it. Unfortunately, it's not going to be together enough to do that until after we go back to live cons, and then there's no way this thing's going to be able to move off site. So if I could find a virtual con in the future, then yeah, the city's going to go in there. But until then, probably just the smaller stuff. And the Nautilus, I gotta get the Nautilus in there so the Nautilus can get more love. Yeah, last I checked, we hit 120 supporters. So thank you all again for that. Submit the Opera House. Yeah, the Opera House. The thing with that, well, I mean, Bricks by the Bay is only one photo. Yeah, I like where your mind is on that. I'm gonna have to put that on my short list. So yeah, I'm kind of getting a list of things together to go in there, and it's I don't know. I just don't. When you show things at a con, like it's different from being at a physical con for sure. But like one of the reasons you want to have the stuff in there is, so people can see it and be like, oh, that's cool. And I mean, I'd love to do that with most of the stuff in this room, but I mean, there's only so much you can submit before people are tired of you. So who knows? Is that a brick-built guitar that the Porg is holding? It sure is. Yeah. Let's see. I'll bring it out here. I can't submit until next year. Oh, yeah. Sorry, yo. Yeah, I'm going to promote my idea stuff. I'm going to put some of my other little builds in there, too, because maybe it'll point somebody back to the Nautilus, right? But, yeah, I'll show you that in a second. Not tired of your art. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. But, yeah, this is a brick-built guitar. I did this when I was working on trying to, after my partner Monica and I had done the interview for Lego Masters, we Tiffany, was right. I said, girl, I need a challenge. I want you to surprise me every day for this month. I want to wake up and find a Post-it note sitting out for me with a different thing on it. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, whatever you can conceive of. Something for me to build for that day, right? And then I started sharing these with Monica, what the Post-its were. And then we would kind of, see where each of us would come up with where we would go for that idea. And we started to gel a little bit, and we had discussions about things and whatnot. So we were working on that. And one of the things that Tiffany put on the Post-it note during that month, so yeah, it was like a surprise advent calendar. Make your own advent calendar. Here, make a refrigerator today. Make a stove. Make a coffee pot. Make a sweat lodge. Yeah, sweat lodge was one of them. Yeah, sweat lodge. So yeah, I love that little brick built guitar. It's not great, as you can see. You can see me right through back here. but it's it's snot and slope, curved slopes. But it's perfect for porg size, right? So, and it holds together pretty well. It's not too flimsy. There's a look at the backside, so you can you can see exactly how heinous it gets, and pretty thick fret bar there. But yeah, so I threw this together, and then like at the same time I was reworking the porg because I was like, I needed these white slopes that were on the porg for like a lot of other things I was doing. So I kind of stripped him down. I had all these black slopes because black is one of those colors you just kind of accumulate because it doesn't play everywhere. Sorry, new chair. Or old chair that I tried to fix that I kind of didn't really fix. So there might be strange sounds. So yeah, so I put the porg in a tux because like he's not a farmer, goes out, has fun. And he's got the guitar now, so he's playing it up. Let's see. Yeah, I suck at photography too. I really do. Like I'm good at like landscape or taking photos of architectural stuff, right? Like things that I can frame, a little bit better. But trying to cram things into this corner, pull a curtain back, trying to angle it right, because there's no way I can take like a photo on like some wrinkle-free paper that I just have conveniently on a roll that I can just dispense from somewhere. I don't have that kind of space to work with really. So I have a rig set up here with a curtain on a rod that goes around that I can pull over and set on top of a table and take pictures of, and it makes the Nautilus nigh impossible to photograph. I'll say it like that. And then trying to get lighting and everything, so it's a pain. But on the flip side of that, you don't have to load everything into a car, take it to a convention center, set up your table, worry about bits falling off in the meantime or things crashing, going horribly wrong. So there's the advantage there in that. Paint miniature models, so you just learn how to photo toys. Yeah. I mean, I never really had anything capable of focusing that small, that close, with that much definition until just recently. Because I was a little bit late in the cell phone game. I'll admit, like I'm on a good page now, but it took me a few years to even get into the whole thing because I was like, I just found contracts and plans and all that so confusing. I just hung back for, and I'm not really a talkative person anyway. I mean, post-pandemic online interaction notwithstanding, generally I am a very keep to myself kind of guy. But yeah, so guitar there. So yeah, I totally forgot where I was going with that. Only dropped one modular with this weekend's photos. It was a quick fix. The light kit kept it together. Nice. Yeah, my light kits are actually trying to tear some of my builds apart. The light kit is kind of wedged in really tight because I use the Power Functions lights, the old Power Functions lights, because I can get a little bit more angle out of them. Plus, it's, I'm keeping it Lego. But like the cords on those, trying to get those through and get them stacked up just right, it's kind of pushing the hospital away from the wall a little bit because with these new tables, it's all flush. And before it wasn't. So I'm going to have to go through there and rewire some things. So yeah, my wiring is fighting me. But thankfully, I haven't dropped a modular. Thankfully, I haven't dropped the Opera House, because if I were to drop the Opera House, oh man, let me tell you what. Like, I've knocked windows out of there before, and it's not a fun thing. I've knocked the little Pearl Gold details off before, and that's not fun putting them up. So, oh yeah, and the Blue Power Jet is now on top of there, and it's cantilevered. So like it seems like a disaster waiting to happen, but there's so much weight on the back of that because the front is all glass, the back is all brick, so the brick is much heavier, and it keeps it in place. It's a miracle of modern physics. It really is. So yeah, Mills plates. Yeah. Oh, I missed something here. Only dropped one. Crazy, you took them all outside without dropping more. Yeah. Putting them outside. Like I'm deathly afraid of taking Lego outside. I took my brick separator flower out there. I took Puppy out there, and that's pretty much it. Time for the Hellfire Gala scenes with the Opera House. Word. Yeah, I could do. there's all kinds of stuff I could do with that opera house, honestly. But like getting in there, like rearranging everything in the stage and on the, you know, the ground floor, easy as pie. Trying to rearrange like the circular rows of minifigs going up to the sky, a little bit tougher because you gotta come in from the top, and let's see, that's eight 6 tall windows. So I mean that's more than I can normally reach. And if I got to get something underneath it or in the bottom 2 rows, I kind of have to angle it at the back of a table, get like one hand in there from the bottom and move things around. So it's never fun. Or I got to pop out a window, which is actually probably a little bit more sane to try and do. But like the stage and stuff was really easy to access and change things around on. So I've done that a little bit, but the play's never really changed. It's been loving Cleopatra for ages because that was the best I could make from an anagram of the tiles that I had there. Yeah. So yeah, you know, this is a good suggestion. You know, I might see if I can photograph the opera house and put it in there because it is lit. I do have a couple tan pieces I've been meaning to work on, getting the ceiling more roundly closed in. So yeah, maybe that's something I'll throw in there. But yeah, so he immediately goes to B-boy stance. So yeah, that's 2 hours, yo. That's talking about, and we still didn't talk about everything in the Lego Masters 2. Let's see if there's anything else I can talk about real quick there. So we talked about Lego, talked about Don, talked about Lego, talked about Moto, talked about Don, talked about Midwest Builders, talked about Wayne and Zach, talked about the Viking Sea Serpent Brothers, which is a cool build. All they had to do really to tie that into themselves is put themselves on the boat. Just say, you know, like Wayne and Zach did with the colors and the dragons and making that, you know, resemble themselves. All they had to do, put themselves on the boat, problem solved. Nobody said word about, you know, no representation and thing. Randall and Saritha's was, I mean, it was great. It had the LM graffiti on it. And then the gripe is, well, nobody's going to see the turntable from the street. Well, all you had to do for that mock is take all those minifigs that were standing around the record player as it's going, put them on the record player as it's going around, and then everybody on the street will know that it's a moving base, and then they'll put 2 and 2 together from the needle. Easy solve. Was it Susan and Jen? Their carriage with the single functional wheel, when they were putting that on there, you know, watching it again, as I do, seeing the way that they had the initial axle coming out from where they had the motor set, all they would have had to do is throw a worm gear on there, or like they could have done a worm gear. They also could have done a Fat 8. There are a couple of different things they could have done to split the motion between the two, use the same device to get it out there to the wheels. I mean, you know, and it's easy to see this stuff in retrospect where we are looking at it after the fact. But all right, here's PG word number 2. When you're in the shit, you're not gonna really see all that. You know, you got like tunnel vision that you're working with. So hindsight is 20/20, and like backseat driving is, you know, so much even better than that. Yeah, they could have put more motors on there. That's something you can always do. You can put more motors on. That's something Dawn could have also done. She could have added another set of motors to but I mean, like I say, she wasn't familiar with enough to do that. I'm not familiar enough to do that. I know the concept, and like I say, it would take me an hour or two playing around with the gears to get that to work right. Who else did I? Yeah, Mockery accomplished. Thank you. So yeah, I'm trying to think who else I'm missing. Okay, so you had the twins, right? The twins, beautiful building in the center. All the stuff leading up to it, confusing as all get out. So condense that a little bit. I mean, the Brickmasters love their build. They didn't really say much bad about it. But my thing is, it like the story was unwieldy. It was all over the place. It was rambling. Condense, narrow it, get you right to the point. And it would have sold it really well. Tim and his son from Michigan here, I think, is he another Zach? So yeah, the Grayling father and son duo, the way they had their 4 seasons thing with the clock in the center, yeah, that's all good. You know, you want to give 4 seasons up, but we're in Michigan, yo. So choose a season. If you're going to choose a season, choose winter. Have an entire thing be like a winter scene. And then if you're going to do that and you're going to have motion, you could have an entire rows of skaters moving around the center. That's something you could do with the movement of clock if you still want to have that in there. But I understand they wanted to do a full year round encompassing type thing because, you know, like you might love the fall, you might love the spring. So you want to get equal representation. I know, and I get that totally. That's just the way thing. There are 3 Michigan teams because you got is it Tim and Zach? I'm gonna be saying Zach, and I might be wrong. And Hockey Bricks did a build of them, I think, just a little bit ago. But anyway, so they're from Michigan. They're from like Grayling. They're a little bit up, or Grayling or Gaylord. One of the G's. They're a little bit further north in the state. Then you have the husband and wife that did the sheep, and they are from the Grand Rapids area. And then you have Dawn, who is also like in the Grand Rapids. Like Grand Rapids is kind of comparable. I mean, as far as, you know, from one state to another, it's kind of like the way LA is, where it's a sprawl, right? You have your main city part, and then you have everything, all the suburbs around it that just kind of get swallowed up by that. And, you know, they all live in, you know, suburbs probably 20 minutes away from each other, which is like 20 minutes away from where my sisters live, which is like, they're probably less than an hour. Yeah, Grand Rapids is a sprawl, yo. Grand Rapids is it's sprawl. I'll keep it a little brief. It's a sprawl. Who else did they have build in there? Trying to think if I'm missing anybody, just because, like, I don't want to talk about somebody's build, not talk about everybody's build, you know, and just be like that dude and be like, oh, well, he gave them a free pass. Like anything I say here matters anyway. So, but yeah, I think we got everybody. If not, Michelle and is it Nicole? They had the paint cans and the paint swaths and samples and everything. That was fantastic. Maybe a little bit I mean, like their build was the one that I saw the least that I wanted to or would change anything or do anything different with. It would be because like they had the mixel joints joining all the, you know, tendrils of paint that was splattering everywhere. Mixel joints, useful as they are a bit clunky and they are a bit gappy. So you have to do a plate over extension over that joint itself to really hide that joint. So that's something that they could have done. They could have hidden those joints a little bit more just to make that look more of a smooth flow of paint. That's the only thing that they could have done differently in my mind that would have just dialed it in a little bit more for me. But other than that, oh my God, like, concept to execution, it was just like perfect on the dot. For me, they were like them and like the dragons were the top things. But I loved everybody's builds. Like there was no, I mean, I'm not going to talk smack about anybody on season 1. I love everybody on season 1, but it seemed like out of the gate, season 2, everybody was dialed in on concept, kind of knew the direction that they wanted to go, and were, if not comfortable with the brick pit, they got all the bits that they needed to really execute what they wanted to. That's the best way I can say that without totally fudging it up. So yeah, so there's that. And God, I hope I'm not talking or missing anybody. I haven't really kind of drawn a blank here. I should have took notes if I was going to talk about this. AFOL community is so polite. It needs some drama. Well, I mean, I don't want to go full Don Brickles. If I go full Don Brickles, like it's full Don Brickles. I mean, it's hilarious at some point, but I mean, it is a little bit, you know, slightly acidic. And not for everybody's palate. So I dial back frequently and often. I could say things that, I mean, would be, and this is why I really have to edit myself. I'll say something, to me, it'll be hilarious as hell, but I will have offended the person I was talking about, offended the person probably I was standing next to, not so much for the content or any kind of political or religious thing that I may have said, just because like there would be disgusting levels of wrong with some of the stuff that comes out of my mouth. So there has to be a good filter before I let it out. And a lot of times any criticism or judgment gets eliminated there as well. So it's best that I have that filter on. Otherwise, things are going to get ugly. Things get just ugly. Things would get ugly. M&R Productions would have their little cadre of followers out there just harassing me and attacking me. So I try and keep it calm, try and keep it, collected a little bit and not talk too much smack, because, the more smack you talk about other people, the more license it gives them to talk smack about you. And I mean, I try and keep my stuff in check, but like, I'm fallible as all get out. So I just don't want to set myself up too much for that. Right? I mean, I can take a little bit of one-on-one from somebody, but like, I can't like fight somebody with their fan base coming after me. So I'm not going to go down that road. Yeah. Because feelings. Better to be safe to have that filter on. Because if I don't have that filter on, I mean, I could probably be playing in Vegas next week, but like, I would have no friends. It's joking. Let's see, just making sure I'm all have some coffee. Coffee done. All right. My tab is getting warm. So thank you everybody for stopping by. Let's see how fast I can do a recap of everything I talked about. Talked about the Phoenix. Whoop. Talked about this little rolly deal that I got today. Talked about SARS, the new acronym. Snack Food Acquisition Robo Sentai. So the new group of bionicle-based robots, for the most part, that are going to be taking down Fart. Talked about the Dino build. Talked about the Shuttle build, which, hey, Overwatch gave me some good parts. And then I got these two. Nice. These two pieces off of Bricklink, like 10 cents or less each to get that finished out. Talked about my addiction to Ace Combat. Talked about Bricks by the Bay. Talked about submissions for Bricks by the Bay. Talked about Lego Masters Season 2, which we'll be watching, I'm sure we will, tomorrow night, right? And we'll talk about that more. Talked about really nothing behind me here. Yeah, and I think that's most of everything that went over today. And the reason to get the Riot sets and the reason that the Bricks by the Bay goodie bundle kind of eliminated that. So that's another fortuitous thing. Talked about transforming robots and how like they have no fashion sense, but they know how to rock a pompadour. Yeah, so that's. Oh, and we talked about the Bugle versus the. And I mean, I'm gonna make a video on this, so it's just something that's been cranking over in my head over and over again. How Ninjago City Gardens and the Daily Bugle, for what you get for the Bugle, it's awesome. But for minifigure storage and like becoming a part of your environment that you have and being able to bring other figures into it, Ninjago City Gardens all the way. Because I mean, I'm sure like if you needed to, you could pack 100 figures on that thing. 100 fingers, probably that too. But 100 figures could fit on there without being too bad. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we talked about today. You can't find the shade emoji. I don't blame you. I am a shade emoji. And then of course this is Pride Month, so got my Jay and Silent Bob shirt on. Yeah. And yeah, hashtag rebrick this. Hashtag rebrick this June 21. Jason Alleman got in on it for some reason. Like, who saw that happening, right? He even put his instructions up on Rebrickable. So that's cool. Like, this thing is like getting some attention. And I did my I submitted a build for it last night on Instagram from Wrath of Khan with the creatures in our bodies. So that was my thing there. And I got another set because I've been cribbing stuff to make, working on Chester over here, to make some other stuff. So I got another set. I'm going to be working on that and doing another rebrick this June 21. Joel, this shirt is from the 90s, dude. I don't know if you can be able to find it anywhere. I think it was it Graffiti Dynamics or something like that made it back in the day. They had like a whole line of Jay and Silent Bob shirts. I think it was around the time post Chasing Amy. Was it pre-Dogma? Maybe around that time when they issued these. So if you can find one, good luck. This one never got wore too much, so the print's still kind of intact. But yeah, thanks everybody for checking this out. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for looking at things. Thanks for listening to me ramble for so long about nonsense and Lego. If you have a mind and you love 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or you just like have an itchy clicker finger and you want to go click on some stuff, why don't you go support the Nautilus sub? It's something you can do. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. I'm going to do this again next week. If I do end up getting a job at some point here, the times are going to be changing, but I mean, that's one plus in the unemployment column, right? Yeah. So there's that. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and start getting my stuff together. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Much love. Just I can't say enough how much it means to me that people actually like stop in and hang out and put up with me. So, I mean, yeah, thank you so much. It means a lot. And yeah, Joel got it, the Wakanda forever. Yeah, so thanks so much, y'all. I'm going to try and see if I can come up with any other crazy builds for this week. One last Easter egg, so to speak. Brother got glasses this week because I'm a little bit farsighted. I can't see much when I'm driving. Well, I mean, I can see it, but I can't really read the signs too well. So brother went and got some glasses. Right? Yeah. Fierce. They're not fierce. They're just glasses. They just do the thing. I can't even use them in here. So like that's how I didn't even know I needed glasses, because everything in here is close up. It's been here last year, going out into the world and be like, girl, you got to clean the windows. I can't see anything out of them. It's glasses that I needed. So yeah, there they are. Probably won't be seeing them too much because, like I say, I need them for far away. But you guys got a little glimpse, a little something to part with as I wrap up the rambling. And yeah, who's the new guy? All right, peace, love, and hair grease, everybody. Assalamu alaikum, and all the love that comes with it. See you guys next week if you're around, if I'm around, and the world's still turning. Peace.